Build the Life You Want by Oprah Winfrey and Arthur C. Brooks. This book is a dedication to your life's journey, getting happier year after year and bringing happiness to your life and others. This book begins with a note from Oprah and another note from Arthur. They discuss thoughts on happiness through their professional and personal experiences and how that brought them to where they are. Here's a curveball. Oprah is a billionaire, Brooks is a Harvard professor, and the last time I checked, these milestones occurred well before the world took a turn for the worse in a lot of ways in 2020. Still, happiness is a tough topic for Generation Z. Multiple sources said, so I don't know exactly where it's from, but 42% of Gen Z born from 1997 to 2012 is battling with depression and feelings of hopelessness, almost twice as much as millennials, and 70% of Gen Z reports mental health conditions amongst our peers. Of course, I was born in the early 1997, and not to make this a generational thing, we're just living in a really crazy time. Between the impact social media has had on youth's psychological development, school shootings and pandemic, and also costs of living increasing more than wages at insane, I wouldn't be surprised if they're historical rates. Again, not to make this a generational thing, it's more like a what's going on right now thing, because people who are 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years old can probably say they're experiencing something similar. Any generation can be experiencing the effects of what I'm saying, come to think of it, but when you're used to happiness and you're at a place in your lifestyle where it's easier, let's face it, you are used to happiness and you're at a place in your lifestyle where it's easier. So to what degree can these people know what they know? Because they know way more than just their personal experience. And I mean way more. And to what degree can it be applicable to today? I'm sure they'll address it, but if they do, it'll be the icing on the cake. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about the chapters, things I learned, things I liked, things I wasn't maybe so crazy about. I'm going to go over some standout quotes, who I recommend this book to, as well as what books to maybe check out next. Just so you guys know, there are affiliate links in the description, and if you buy anything through those links, like maybe this book, then I get commission, which helps me build this channel and keep making these videos. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Sam, and I want to make self-growth normal, because people shouldn't have to look this information up. It should just be mainstream knowledge. If you agree, then please make sure to smash that like button. Chapter 1, happiness is not the goal, and unhappiness is not the enemy. I can't listen to people talk about this last lecture from Randy Pausch anymore, guys. Yes, it's a damn good lecture, but the amount of people who talk about it, is it that much more important and impactful than every other lecture? I guess. If you haven't seen it, watch it, look it up. Watch it after you watch this video. The point of this chapter is that each of us, though, can strive for a rich life where we appreciate the honey, but we also appreciate the bees responsible for it as a new way of life. Chapter 2, the power of metacognition. Metacognition is moving emotion from the limbic system into the prefrontal cortex. It's basically being aware of your thoughts. What I once heard in an Eckhart Tolle book, this is pretty cool, I will never forget it, obviously, is to ask yourself, what will my next thought be? The Buddha said that to manage your emotions, you must observe them as if they're happening to someone else. This chapter talks more about like how to do this. In chapter 3, choose a better emotion, the beginning of this talked about caffeine and how it's nearly identical to adenosine, which is what shows up to make you tired. But caffeine is meant to like take its place by telling you that you're not drowsy, not to actually make you more focused. And then he somehow went from this into like emotions, like happiness and gratitude and humor, and how focusing on them can change our overall experience in life. Chapter 4 is focus less on yourself. If you have the energy to put everything into worrying about what others think of you, you can safely assume that most people around you are probably doing the same thing. But a good way to blunt your envy played a big part in this chapter, is to focus on areas of life that people you're envious of may be lacking in. Sure, she may be going to a long trip for work and she can explore Europe in between business meetings or something, but she's also spending time away from her family, and for all you know, she could be spending like half of her free time getting in massive fights with her husband about not knowing when she's coming back. Chapter 5, build your imperfect family. Something pretty cool in the book is that in between every like 3 chapters or something like that, Oprah will just throw in her own like notes on specific things that stand out to her. In this one, she was describing her relationships with her best friend Gayle King, her husband Stedman Graham, and even Arthur Brooks, and how their personalities are complementary to each other. Chapter 6, friendship that is deeply real. A lot of this chapter was about relationships and how to make them deeper rather than shallower. It had much less to do with social media than I thought it would. By the way, this dude, Arthur C. Brooks, he is just as much into research, numbers, and statistics as I thought he would be, which I may add is a good thing. 99% of these videos are entirely pre-written. That's why you guys might notice I keep maybe looking down at my screen. Going off script here for just a second, I did notice before filming this video, because I looked, and this is a very, very recent book. This came out maybe like 2 weeks ago. There are a lot of like negative reviews of this book. One of them mentioned that they expected more from a Harvard professor. Honestly, like, did you really read the book? Like, there's so many things that you could easily expect from a Harvard professor. The amount of research that went into this, I can't even express it. Chapter 7 is work that is love made visible. This is the one when I mentioned how, you know, the billionaire and the Harvard professor, and obviously they're doing well. So like, what about everyone else? What about people who are like, oh, well, it's easy for them to say? This chapter addressed that like no other in the book. They were really sure to make this book about like what it means to live a fulfilling life in the 21st century. Not that that was their exact goal, but they were able to do it for sure. They really hit the nail on the head with this though regarding work. The fact that psychologists have come up with different names for career models, if that doesn't say something about how our careers affect our well-being and emotional state, I do not know what does. Brooks also couldn't help touching on workaholism, of course. Chapter 8 is Find Your Amazing Grace, the absolute best part of this chapter, and if you have checked out the book and you watch this channel fairly regularly, you know what I'm about to say. The authors put together this whole thing about like spirituality and building the life you want, and they briefly and somehow very professionally disclosed their personal dedication to their own religions, and they basically said like, don't get me wrong, like this is not what we're talking about here. It was very unbiased. As a reviewer, I find that so easy to appreciate. This was such a good book. Such a good book. Not that it was Oprah's goal, but I have to admit it blew What Happened to You out of the freaking water. I can't wait for the next like collab she puts together with a psychologist, professor, or other intellectual professional, and hopefully I can get to reviewing it sooner after it comes out. Quotes. Believe it or not, there was actually only one quote from this book that really stood out. Many successful people confess that they would rather be special than happy. Direction 1. I recommend this book to anyone who, sometimes it's really just a crack at the title, anyone who wants to build the life that they want. Who doesn't want that? Direction 2. If you like this book, check out The Courage to be Disliked by, gosh, I need to learn how to pronounce their names, Fumitake Koga and Ikiro Kishim, as well as What Happened to You by Bruce Perry and Oprah Winfrey. And if after you check out What Happened to You, let me know in the comments if you like that one or this one more. Build the Life You Want. Build the Life You Want by Oprah Winfrey and author Arthur C. Brooks. There's a link in the description if you guys want to check out and read the reviews. That and all the other books that I mentioned in this video, if you want to check those out too. If there are any other books that you guys want me to check out and review, please let me know in the comments below. Also, let me know if you checked out this book and you liked it. But hey, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, because I don't get why people watch this far into my videos and they don't subscribe. But if you have subscribed and you want to turn it up just a notch and turn on that notification bell to get a notification whenever I drop new videos, that would mean the world to me. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. You can find me everywhere, and I will see you then.